Welcome back to Laces Untied with Liv and Ellie, a brand new women's football podcast that's aimed to shine a light on the inspirational people within it.
Today, we are so excited to announce our first ever guest on the pod, Liv. How exciting, crazy.
Indeed.
None other than professional footballer, star from the BBC's I Kissed a Girl, it's Georgia Robert.
Hello.
Welcome.
Welcome, Georgia. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you
really
for having
appreciate
me.
it. And what a way to kick things off. So really appreciate you being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Nice. First of all, how are you? How's
I'm
things?
good. Yeah, life's good. Off season, so chilling and just sort of enjoying the buzz of the show, which is quite nice. So yeah, life's good. Can't complain.
Sounds good. And
Yeah.
I'm sure like you're still adjusting to life since the show's come out, right?
It was like quite overwhelming when the show was actually out,
Mm-hmm.
but it's nice now that it's sort of finished and
Settled
it's
a little
just
bit.
it's settling a little
Yeah.
bit and it's a little bit nicer.
Love it.
Yeah,
Well, we enjoyed it, didn't we, Liv?
I loved
Loved
it. Binge watched it.
Yeah.
nice.
But we'll get back onto that.
Yeah,
Properly.
sorry.
But-
Back to business.
We want to start from the beginning,
Yeah.
Liv, don't we?
So, Georgia, how was football introduced to you? How did you get into it? Tell us all.
How did I get into football? I think like just used to play it at school. Like used to play it at like break times and stuff. And then I think like we'd play it after school with the boys and stuff. And then one of my friends being like, oh, you should, like friends' mums being like, oh, you should come and play for the team that he plays for. I was like, oh, okay. And then literally just ended up playing for this boys team, like the local village boys team, I think for like a couple of years. And then when I was 12, you couldn't play with the boys anymore. So then like play for the girls team. North Yorkshire Centre of Excellence was like formed. And that was like the closest centre of excellence to me. So then just trialled there, got in there, and I think was there for like 4 years.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So you
Am I
went
doing
to
the whole story?
No,
It's
sorry,
long.
we'll
Blank,
jump
yeah.
in.
Tell
Don't
me.
worry, we'll jump in. So like you said, you didn't really play for a team until you were 12. So essentially you didn't really have any opportunities like as a girl playing football.
No, so I think I was maybe 9 or 10 when I played with the boys,
Yeah.
and then girls team from 12. Yeah.
It's mad, isn't it?
So there was no girls' team in school when you were playing with the boys, or
I think we did have a girls football team at school. But like, I can remember I wanted to play for the boys team as well because
Yeah.
it was like the school team. But they were very like, no, you're
Oh,
a
they're
girl.
very-
You
yeah.
have to play for
Yeah.
the girls team.
That's so true, isn't it? Yeah. I had a similar experience as well. Like
Yeah.
I didn't play for a team until I was like 12, which was actually a girls team. But it was only I was only there for a year because I was in year 6, and then all the girls, obviously we all went to secondary school, and then I just
Yeah.
don't really care anymore.
No,
And like you, there wasn't really a girls team,
no.
so I didn't actually play for a team properly until I was like 18.
Yeah.
Mm.
So it's just mad, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like the North Yorkshire Centre of Excellence was like an hour away from me. That was in
Really?
York, so it was like was quite lucky because I think there was maybe like 6 of us from my village that actually were going. So like our parents could like rotate lifts and stuff. But I think back to that and like how many miles like my mum put into
Yeah.
driving, and I'm like, now I'm like older. I'm thinking, am I gonna have to do that when I have a kid? 'Cause I'm thinking, fuck that.
Yeah.
I'm thinking my
Get
mum
us.
is a saint. Like she drove me everywhere. Because it was
Wow.
like an hour to York. I was there for maybe like 4 years. And then the year after I was at Leeds in the reserves and then the first team. And that was like an hour and a half.
Mad.
And I'm like,
that's so long, actually. Nothing
like my
about
mum,
it.
she would come and pick
Yeah.
me up from sixth form because I was at York College. And then she would drive me to Leeds. And
Yeah.
I'm like,
And would she
What?
wait whilst you were training? Yeah.
what a woman.
That's, do you
Yeah.
know what? Take my hat off to her.
Literally. Because I'm like, probably would have just like dropped off of football if like my mum, if like
Yeah.
my mum and dad were just like, we're not doing that. I'd have been like, oh, all right.
Mm.
Like wouldn't be playing football now.
And how often did you have to do that a week? How often did she?
So I think North Yorkshire to like, so in York that was like, I think that was Tuesday, Thursdays. And I think it was the same at Leeds, to be fair. I think it was just 2 nights a week,
Yeah.
which is a blessing sort of, but still.
And back then, what was the standard like?
I mean, not what it is now.
Yeah.
Not what it is now at all.
Yeah.
And especially like with sort of like the professionalism and like
Mm-hmm.
things like that. It was like classic, you're wearing like men's kits where like the shorts are
honestly.
baggy, like kits baggy.
Yeah.
You're getting like hand-me-downs from like the year before.
But even that dedication you had at Leeds, and like it felt like it was quite a professional environment, I
Yeah.
suppose, in comparison to what you had been doing growing up. Did you have like any female role models that you could look up to, or did you see yourself as someone who could play football professionally, or at the time maybe wasn't?
No, not even. I think I always think back to this, and like it's obviously a question that you get quite a lot now. I think it was never something that I thought I could be. I think like growing up, I can again vividly remember when I was like going to sixth form, I asked like one of the, I think he was like the head of football at York College. I was like, should I do BTECs or A levels? Like, which one like sets you up better in life or whatever? He was like, well, what do you want to do? And I was like, I want to play football. And he said women can't do that. And I was like, oh. But like at the time they couldn't.
Yeah.
So it was like,
so it's not like he was lying.
no. And I was just like, oh, okay. Like just like took the, like, it was like, really deflated.
Yeah.
But then it was just like, I think it was just like pure like stubbornness. Like I just wanted to play football.
Yeah.
And then it was like, I'm just going to keep going. So like obviously did like my A levels, then went out to America. It's not for all colleges, but like where I was, it was probably like slightly lower standard, but like way more professional.
Yeah.
In that like we trained every single day. We got so much kit.
The facilities
like,
are mad out there.
Facilities are ridiculous. Like the physios were like always hands on and like all of that. So it was like, that was the perfect route for me. Cause I don't know if I'd stayed in England and like gone to university, whether it would have been as like I would have taken it as seriously, or if I'd got like would have maybe got caught up in like the social side of it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I was there for like 5 years. So then by the time I came back, it was like, I think Women's Super League 2 was turned into the Championship, and it was like getting like
it
more
was in a better place.
Yeah. So I was like, oh.
Because I think we're about the similar age.
29.
Yeah, I'm 28. Almost 29. But I remember like when I was sort of like secondary school age, the thing to do was to go to America because they were so far ahead of England in terms of like support and backing and finances and facilities. Yeah. And I remember going to like a scholarship trial, but it was just too expensive in the end. Like, and I wasn't really good enough to be fair, but that was just the thing to do.
Yeah, because I think it was like in trend, and I think at the time there wasn't really anything in England. Because I remember when I was at Leeds, I think WSL 2 was getting like formed the next season, and obviously like Leeds were putting in their like applications and stuff like that. Yeah. But then they didn't get it, so we were like, there was like so many girls being like, oh, what do we do now? And I was like, well, I'm off to America. So it like sort of ended up going. So good luck, girls. Like worked out well, but yeah. I don't know what like would have looked like if I'd stayed in England and just tried to play in whatever levels I could.
Yeah, mad.
Okay, well in that case, what stage did you realise that football was something you wanted to do full time, career wise, or when did you realise that it could be a solid career?
So I think looking back, it was probably something I always wanted to do, but like it never really was something you could do. And then I think when I went out to America, it was kind of like. Didn't think it was something I could do, and I was like, oh well, I'll just try and get as many like cool experiences and like life experiences out of football as I can, and use it as sort of like a passport to do things. But then I think like I tore my ACL in my first year in America, like towards the end of it, and obviously like the rehab for that is savage.
Yeah,
it was like 12 months pretty much before I was like back fully competitively playing. And I think like when I did that, it was like. Am I allowed to swear on this?
Yeah.
I was like, fuck this. I thought, I've just done 12 months of rehab. I'm taking this shit seriously. Like, I will play football.
Yeah.
And it was like, at that point, it was sort of like, well, can I play in America? Like, can I play Sweden, like Iceland, things like that. But then it wasn't until like the end of my time in America. So I was like there for 5 years. Did my other ACL at the end of my time in America.
Oh my god!
Right, well, don't do that again.
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, they've lasted a good long time at the minute.
Out of interest, did you do it out in contact or non-contact?
Non-contact.
Both of them.
Yeah, just like changing direction.
That's mad.
Yeah.
And how both of them were like a year long recovery?
Pretty much. Yeah.
Oh my days.
Yeah, minging.
Yeah, don't recommend.
I was about to ask you what the biggest challenge you faced in football is.
I guess that one's answered.
Yeah.
That's mad, mate.
I'd say my ACLs. Definitely.
Were you studying for the full 5 years?
Yeah, so like it's sort of like it's one of the things I like everything happens for a reason and like a blessing in disguise, because like it's weird when I look back, because like both of my ACLs have come at times when like I wasn't happy in like the football environment or was like wasn't enjoying it or whatever reason, and it's almost like at the time I've done it, I'm like, oh my god, this is awful, and like you do the rehab, and then like looking back I'm like, that like was almost like a forced break that I needed.
Okay.
And it's like really bizarre. And I'd always like sort of thought that like maybe that was like the universe like giving me a break that I needed to then like really go at it again. To
reset.
Yeah. But like my dad's partner, she's like really like spiritual. And I remember she was telling me like every like physical ailment has like a like mental like thing attached to it.
Okay.
And she said like the knees are like anger or something like that. And I was
Stop.
thinking, I was like really angry in both those times. Like I
Yeah.
hated like both my coaches, and was like angry. I was sort of like angry at like the standard, because obviously like I'd gone out to America and I was like, I feel like I should be somewhere better.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah.
And I was like, should I have like gone about this a different way? Like, how can I get out of this? Things like that. And like the coach there was like dick. Like,
in what sense? Just like
he was just like
condescending, or like
yeah, both. Like he was
coaching-
clueless.
Yeah.
He was just like rude, and like so many different things. But I was like, oh god,
It's
like,
just not a
then-
coach you wanted to
yeah,
play.
not at all.
Yeah.
And like he didn't have a clue about football at
Yeah,
all.
that seems like something you'd need to have.
Yeah, you think
surely.
so. But it's
Yeah.
weird over there. So it's like you don't. I think to coach in college, I don't think you need like coaching badges. I think you just need to
don't?
have a master's.
Right.
Well, that's
okay.
what it was anyway. So it's like
yeah.
you will probably still get some good coaches, because
Mm.
like coach qualification doesn't necessarily
Yeah,
mean
yeah,
good coach, but
yeah.
like still.
There's so many factors that
Mm,
that influence whether you're happy or not, or whether
Oh,
you're
God,
performing.
yeah.
It's actually crazy.
yeah.
Mm.
Like I remember I had a really, really good season at Crystal Palace, but that was because the coaches were amazing, the players were amazing. Like we played really well together.
Yeah.
We like fought for each other and spent time together outside of football. And there's just so many little things that matter.
Yeah.
Mm.
But like I think that's a really positive way of like looking at your injuries,
Yeah.
maybe with the influence of your dad's partner.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's crazy. I can't
Yeah.
believe you did.
Yeah,
both
both
of
of
them.
them.
A lot of people would have
Hopefully
given up
normal.
after doing one,
No, I
Innit?
know.
because the recovery's so long,
Yeah.
and you're not guaranteed to play at that level again after.
No, I know. I can remember like the surgeons like said that, and I like, but like in my head, I was like, that's not gonna be me.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm
But do
gonna
you know-
get back to like how I was and where I was. Like,
Yeah,
Mm.
but if I did my ACL, I'd have a fear of doing it again. I
Yeah.
think I'd probably
Definitely.
be like, what's the point of playing again if I'm
Yeah.
just gonna get injured?
No, I think that's what a lot of
Yeah.
people think as well.
It must have been so isolating though, like going to America at presumably quite a young age, right?
Yeah.
A teenager, whatever.
Yeah.
And to do that and be like in a completely different country, like
Yeah.
fair play.
Yeah. Yeah, it was not great.
Yeah, yeah. But anyway, let's move
Anyways.
on from that. That is mental. But yeah, what did you study?
Business.
Nice.
Business.
Yeah.
Business.
It was quite a small uni, and like there wasn't loads offered, and like I didn't know what I wanted
Yeah,
to do.
you just wanted to be there for the
I just wanted to
football,
play
right?
football, so I was
Yeah.
like, I'll do the most like general, not super specific thing. So
Yeah.
business.
So since coming back after America,
Hmm.
where did you go? Was that when you started to play in the championship?
Yeah, so I think the championship. I think it became the championship when I came back. I think before that was WSL2.
Okay.
Pretty sure.
Yeah, yeah.
So like when I knew I was coming back, I was like messaging loads of teams and stuff like that.
Mm.
Ended up going for a trial at Lewis, and then signed at Lewis.
Yeah.
I was there for like 3/4 of a season, and then mutually terminated contracts.
Right,
That old
okay.
chestnut, and then went to Millwall for like the last 2 months of the season.
Okay.
It's a long list, girls. Get in.
No,
Get
yeah,
comfy.
but this is women's football though.
No,
It's
I know.
football. It's football,
Yeah,
isn't
literally.
it? Yeah.
So then Lewis, Millwall, then Millwall became London City,
Yeah.
but wasn't kept on. So then went London Bees, was there for 2 years, which actually really enjoyed. Then Sheffield, then Durham, then Rugby Borough.
Right. It's mad that you say you like were reaching out to clubs yourself.
I don't even think at that point like
That's what it was,
agents were
though.
really a thing.
No.
So I was just like
crazy.
finding,
Yeah.
like I remember I had a list of like all the championship teams.
Yeah.
And I would just find their like manager or assistant or whatever, and then
Yeah.
add them on LinkedIn and message them.
That's
And I think like I'd made like a little website for myself with like my little
Oh,
highlights,
so
like a
cute.
little Wix
Yeah.
site, and then I was like, here it was like attacking, defending, and I was
Yeah.
like, here's my highlights, please sign me. But like at that
crazy.
time, it was like
That
you
was
could just
it.
go and trial,
Yeah.
and like you could message people, and they'd be like, yeah, come along for a training, we'll see
Mm.
what you're about, and it was
Mm.
just that's sort of how it worked.
Yeah. Where do you feel like you sort of enjoyed the most time at in terms of championship club? Or I suppose it varies, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think my first year at London Bees was good.
Mm.
Like, because it just like clicked there,
Yeah.
and like the girls were sound, and I think because I had 2 years there, eventually like made like really good friends
Mhm.
who I like still speak to now.
Oh,
We've still,
nice.
like still got a group chat,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's just like we'll catch up in that. So that was really nice. And then I think probably Sheffield as well,
Mhm.
like proper sound like group of girls, and really liked the manager there. So like, and just felt like really valued and like respected. So I'd say chef, to be honest, closely followed by London Bees.
Nice.
I love you.
Interesting.
Shout out London
Sign me
Bees.
again.
No.
Let me in there. Well, we've already touched on it. Obviously, you did both your ACLs. But what would you say has been the biggest challenge in football besides your injuries?
Being part-time and like having to have like another career alongside it. Like I think when I was at Lewis, I was like waitress, and that was like part-time-ish, but then obviously I'm on like terrible money.
Yeah.
London Bees, I think I was maybe a waitress for a bit, and then I was like a supply teacher.
Oh, wow.
So like
Oh my God.
slightly better
That's
money,
cool.
but then like
Did you enjoy that?
Oh.
oh, children are horrible.
Yeah.
Also,
And I
Wait,
feel like
what
it was
age?
secondary school.
Oh.
And I feel like it was
yeah.
calmer because like I was a little twat at school. Like I was mouthy.
Yeah.
And like, you know, when you get a supply teacher, you're like, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone's like,
So like when I
yeah.
would turn up at a classroom and they're like, yeah, and I'm like, no.
Just absolutely bully them.
Yeah, and I'm
you'd
like,
roll
oh
up.
no. So like, I mean, it was like more enjoyable than waitressing was.
Yeah.
And like the hours were good around football, but like I was never in it being like, oh, I think I could do this after football.
No.
I was like, this is really testing me. And then Durham was able to just work part-time in the gym, which is actually really good. So that's probably like the best like football work balance I've had.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think just like not earning enough from football and then having to do something else that like I
Yeah.
don't even like
You're not enjoying, yeah.
at all, or is like anything I really
Yeah.
want to do, but I'm literally just doing a job so I can play football. I think like at the time just got on with it, but then it's like having experience like slightly more full-time like with Durham, then when I went to rugby, like I was teaching assistant, so like working full-time and training like part-time, full-time hybrid almost. It was
Yeah.
like I was like, this is savage.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially with teenagers.
So obviously with rugby, you guys are in the National League.
Mm-hmm.
What was that like, jumping down from Championship? I imagine maybe you're happier though.
I'm sensing maybe no.
it's
No,
like,
it's a difficult one, isn't it?
It's a tricky one because like that whole like the whole situation there, like so like I left Durham because I did the show,
Right.
Right.
but I was so I got approached to do the show and I was like wasn't happy at Durham, so I was like I actually would like quite
Nothing
like
to lose, I suppose.
to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like there were so many like reasons where I was like I think this could be a bit of me, so I like spoke to the club and I was like I've been presented with this, like I think I want to do it, and they were
Yeah.
like, right, well let's think about it. And then it was eventually like, if you want to go do this, then you can't stay. But like I'd spoke to them in the summer being like I'd like to leave because I'm not happy, but was told we can't just let people leave willy-nilly because they're not happy. And I was like, right. Which like fair, but also right.
It's not though.
But what we gonna do?
No, I wouldn't say that was
don't-
fair at all.
No.
If someone's not happy, let them go.
Or, yeah, and I
Do
mean,
you know what I mean?
the conversation before at the end of the season was if you're not happy, don't come back.
Not
That's
like, oh,
also
you're
not
not happy,
helpful.
let's try and make
Like-
you happy.
Yeah, it was like if you're not happy, don't be here, don't come back. And I was thinking, ooh. I was like, well, I'm not particularly happy. Does that mean I
Yeah.
can leave?
Yeah.
But then like left it a good time in the summer to like actually think about it and like be like, do I want to stay? Or am I like blowing things out of proportion? But then I was like, I would like to leave.
Yeah.
I was told I wasn't. The show came up and I was like, oh, I was like, okay. I was like, I feel like there's for lots of reasons like I want to do this, and I was
Yeah.
like, felt like something I wanted to do. Was then told if I wanted to go do it, couldn't stay, and I was like, sick.
Yeah.
I was like,
Win-win.
I was like, well, yeah. I was like, that's sort of what I wanted anyway. But then they were
Yeah.
like, but you can't. But if you just go do the show, then we cancel your contract. You'll just go to someone else in the championship. I was like, well, yeah.
It's usually how it works.
I was like, well, yeah. I was like, I can't stay here, so then yeah, that's what I would do.
Yeah.
And they were like, but then we don't get anything from that. So they were like, if you're leaving, then you have to go like drop down a level.
But why do they have a say in
But-
that?
But because it was either I go to a team in the league below, or they were gonna like not let me leave and charge me with like breach of contract.
No, I'm gonna start a fight.
See, yeah. Let me at him.
Go get 'em.
that is
So it was,
mental.
but it was, and it's because it literally all happened in the space of like 3 weeks. So then I'm like,
Oh my God,
and I didn't have an
yeah.
agent like at the start, so I had to like get an agent quick, and then it was like, I don't know, like,
Get a lawyer.
yeah, I don't know like what my like rights are in
Yeah.
this situation.
Well, you
so I'm
don't,
like,
do you? Yeah.
and it's like you don't know all of that. Like, I don't think like women in football are really, especially in the championship, you're not educated on like what you're
no.
So you just sort of like put up with a load of shit and be like,
So true.
thank you so much for letting me play here.
Yeah.
Instead of being
Yeah,
like,
when-
I actually deserve more.
Yeah, 100%.
So
Love
then-
that you did that though. Love
Yeah.
that you left and
Yeah. And then obviously like it was good being at rugby because the manager at rugby was the manager at Bees when I was there. So it was like felt like
Oh,
valued
nice.
and respected and
Yeah.
appreciated and all of that, which is like
yeah.
huge. Which
That's the whole part of it, isn't
yeah,
it? Like,
because like didn't massively feel that at Durham. So it was like,
So you weren't performing as good as you.
well, no, like I
Good.
feel like I had like a good season at Durham and I felt like I was like performing in spite
Yeah.
or like despite not having that. Because I'd had it the season before at Sheffield. Like I knew I had a manager that like backed me and appreciated me and like
Yeah.
supported me, whereas like didn't feel that at Durham. So then to go to rugby and have that was like breath of fresh air.
Yeah. I bet. Hopefully you're in championship though again soon.
Yeah, I'd want to be back in the championship. I think like the goal is to be paid more money for football so that I don't have to be a teaching assistant.
Or
Ideally.
or sell more of these
Yeah,
bad
sell
boys.
more prints and t-shirts.
Anyone wanna
please,
say no?
please go buy them. Thank
link in
you.
description.
No, that's wicked, mate. Hopefully you're
Yeah.
back in championship. Would love
Yeah.
that. Definitely.
Anyways, moving on. How was your experience being on camera on I Kissed a Girl? How did you find it? Was it a bit overwhelming, or did you just forget that the cameras are there?
You sort of forget that they're there. Yeah, it's like because a lot of the cameras are just like little ones that are like dotted around like most of the time. So like the first day, I think the first day you're there, you're like, this is weird.
Yeah,
But then you do get used to it.
yeah.
And then when there's like bits where there's like the big cameras, you're just like so focused on like looking at Danny Minogue that you like you don't
Yeah,
really
Yeah,
look
do
at
you
them.
know what? To be fair, can't relate. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like you do get used to it. And it's not too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'd get worried that I'd be like breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah, I know. I think like I
I'm
probably
so
did
Raven.
do that where I'm like, but then
Yeah.
they just cut it out.
Oh,
Or,
yeah,
like,
that's
and
so
then you
true.
do you do things like a few like when it's the
Oh.
big camera stuff, like you do it a few
Yeah,
times,
okay.
so then they'll get
Yeah.
you not looking at the camera.
Right, got it.
And also like there's so many other girls there, like you don't really feel like it's not like the focus
Your
is on
attention's
you.
a bit.
Yeah.
a bit taken away.
You've
The
got
focus
better things
isn't-
to worry about.
Yeah. It's not on you, so it's not too bad.
Yeah, yeah.
Crazy.
Just for future note if I ever go in there.
Yeah. Season 2.
But yeah, we all loved how open and honest and emotional you were on the show.
Thank you.
Did you expect to feel like that, or was it just? Was
What
it just your
did I expect to be?
open and emotional?
Crying.
Like,
Yeah, I think so.
crying all
I'm,
the time and
like,
just-
people that know me, like I am a crier.
Yeah. So
Like-
You're an emotional person.
Yeah, I'm an
You're very in
emotional
touch
gal.
with emotions.
Yeah, like football, I'm like very intense, passionate. Like there's no hiding that. And then
Yeah.
it's like I'm a crier. So I
Yeah.
thought I was like I didn't want to cry,
Yeah.
but it's like I can't control it. Like
Yeah.
once I get emotional, it's like I'm gone. So it was like can't really change that.
Yeah. I Kissed the Girl was obviously like probably your biggest experience today, I imagine. It must have been
Yeah.
so different and like wild. How do you think it's like changed you as a person, or do you feel like it's changed you, or?
Yeah, I think so. I think like I'd definitely say it's changed me. I think like where do I go? To get like emotional or deep about it, I think like it made me like more confident and like prouder of like my sexuality. Like I think like for a while I've been like proud of that, but then I think like as I said on the show, it was like I had the whole like still had like negativity towards like the word lesbian and like didn't used to like
Yeah.
saying that.
Yeah.
Or I think like as well like like I've said this loads, like the football environment is like very gay, but like it's not what that was. And like I don't really have like a gay group outside of football, so to then be in the Masseria with like a big group of like completely
Yeah.
queer girls was like
Away
who, like,
from football.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was like so different but like so amazing. And like I think it was like I had like the issue with the word lesbian, and then it was also like didn't want to look too gay was like a very like still a thing in me, because it was
Yeah.
like I feel like in football you sort of have the banter of like, oh, you look really gay today, and it's like it's got like a negative undertone to it.
It does.
Or like
Yeah.
it's like, oh, you look straight, when it's like I don't, because it's like
Yeah,
or
even
like,
today, like me and Liv would say that to each other, and it's like, actually think about what you're saying.
no, I know, and because it's like I know I've done it as well, but I can remember like there was once when I was at Durham, I was like, oh, we don't really have any like really like butch girls in our team, and like one of the other girls was like, yeah, we do, we've got you, and I was like, I hated it,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh my god, or like would get like called butch a few times, and I was like,
Yeah.
you know, that's pissing me off, but like hated that, or like
Yeah.
hated looking too gay, or like being too masculine. But then I
Yeah.
think doing the show, it was like all the girls like just loved me for that, and not in like a sexual way. It was just like just
for you,
loved
for
it.
you,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I think it was like doing the show made me love that,
Yeah.
and then I think now I don't mind dressing gay.
Mate, you look wicked.
I look gay as fuck.
Yeah, love it. The gayer the better. No, but honestly, when I saw that clip, it made me think to myself, fuck, like, I don't actually like that word either.
Yeah.
I always use the word gay. I
Yeah.
never call myself a lesbian, and it's
No.
like, why not? I really thought about it, and I was like, mate, it's actually so important that we like talk about it more.
No,
Yeah.
for sure. Because it's like, I know people like who've got like a girl, they've got girl, like they're with girls.
Yeah.
They've got a girlfriend.
Joe, man, Joe.
They have a girlfriend, but like they don't even identify as gay or lesbian because
Yeah.
they don't like.
Yeah.
I mean,
That?
I feel like I struggle with that a bit though. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I only newly came out as bi, but I feel like that's how everyone
Yeah, so did I.
Yeah.
though.
starts with
So
like
did
bi.
I, yeah.
But like, I would never call myself a lesbian.
Yeah,
I really struggle with that.
No, I
Maybe it's
know.
because I'm not fully
yeah,
like lesbian, but when I say to people like, yeah, I don't go out my way to tell people. That's another thing. Like, I don't go out my way to tell people
no, I
like
know.
I'm bi, I like girls, whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's weird. It's a journey
Yeah.
for everyone. It's
No,
so different.
definitely.
But it's
Yeah.
like I related to that a lot when you were saying about using the word lesbian. It's such a strong word. But it's so powerful.
Yeah,
Like, it's not any bad connotations, but
No.
it's such a bold word being like this. Yeah, I am.
I
Like, it's
know.
fine.
I think it's because like it literally does come from school when it'd be
Yeah.
like, oh, are you a lesbian? And you'd be like, no,
Yeah.
no, I'm
Yeah.
not. So then I think
Yeah.
that's like
It's
embedded.
instilled in
And it's like it's still somewhere there, like
Yeah.
tucked away in like a little dusty corner, and you don't realize it's a thing until you like
Yeah.
actually
carry it with you until
and you're like, oh shit, like
They were right.
yeah, that, I am a lesbian.
Yeah, but I'm gonna make sure I use that word a
Yeah.
lot more, just because. And also, you don't really need a label. Like, I still,
No, I know.
I'm like, I mean, 9 times out of 10, I'll dress like this, like pretty. I don't know. I don't know if I'd call myself mask or stem or whatever.
No, I know.
But like, all of my best mates are very straight. Like, whenever I go out with them, I still sort of dress myself, but in the back of my head, I'm like, oh, could I like be a bit more straight today?
I
Sort
know.
of thing. It's like, no, just like wear what you want to wear.
Yeah,
Like, who actually gives a shit?
I know.
no one.
Anyway, no, honestly, how like vocal you were on that show was really beautiful, and I think you touched a lot of people.
Thank you.
Mm.
And we've got a lot of lovely questions for you actually from
Yeah,
our,
we do. Let
I
me
say
just,
I say
find
fans
them.
from our supporters, yeah. But no, honestly,
talk about
mate, like, it
yourself.
was really inspirational.
Thank you.
I really appreciate you being so open because, like you say, we need it
Yeah,
for sure.
I know. I think like didn't even really realize that like so many other people like felt the same.
Yeah,
And,
I
like,
didn't know
when-
I did.
No,
when
I know.
did,
Like
yeah.
when that episode aired, like I had so many people like messaging me, being like, "Oh, I felt the same," and I didn't even know.
Yeah.
And they were just like, "Thank you," and I'm like, "Oh, thank you."
Yeah, no, it's really special.
Sorry, I've got the questions now.
Go on then.
Sorry, boss.
Hit-
Are we ready?
Oh, the voice notes.
Ellie,
Yeah.
live in Georgia. I'm Aoife and I'm from Ireland. Well, the North of Ireland, but anyway. I'm also one of Ellie's first ever fans, I think. My question for Georgia is, what is your dream club to play for? And also, what player would you love to play with and against? Thank you. Good luck for everything. Bye.
Oh, bless her.
Oh.
Thank you. Dream club to play for.
Arsenal.
Yeah, I feel like Arsenal would be
Yeah.
a dream club, but then I feel like I've got this like itch to play in Australia.
Okay. What, in the A League? Do
Interesting.
Yeah. So I
Okay.
feel like
you support an A League club?
not at the minute. But I feel like maybe need to get more into that. So I think
To be fair, I need to brush up my knowledge.
yeah,
on
I feel like Sydney would be a cool club,
Okay.
Yeah.
or Arsenal.
Yeah. Have
Yeah.
you been to Australia before?
No, but I
Fair.
want to go. I
Yeah.
feel like so I want to go
It's a good
with
excuse.
football.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mate, get on LinkedIn again.
Yeah.
Australian
website-
coach.
Get my website back up with my highlight vid.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And what about
and then what'd you say?
player? You'd
To
love
play
to
with or
With or
against?
against, yeah.
I've played against Viv Miedemar when I was at Bees in the Conti
Did
Cup.
you? How
Well,
was that?
Like hellish.
Yeah.
So it'd be quite nice to play with her.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you
Yeah.
know what? Having her on I'd rather play with
Yeah.
her than against.
Yeah.
Just
put it
the
that
long
way.
ball to her.
Yeah, literally. Just ping it in. Or,
Send her back to
or like
striker.
Beth Mead as well. Like I used to play
Yeah.
against her growing up, so I feel like to play with her would be.
mad.
She
Wait,
was at
that's-
Middlesbrough Centre of Excellence.
Okay.
Was she?
Yeah. She's like from that neck of the woods, so yeah. Played against her, so it'd be nice to play with her.
When you played with her when you were younger,
Against her.
sorry, against her.
Haven't played with her.
When you played against her, did she
Yeah.
like stand out?
Yeah. She was sick then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Literally, yeah.
Mad.
Hi, my name is Chloe and I'm from South London. Thank you for being such an inspiration for young girls like me who have had like a hard experience with like no representation, because this show and especially you made me finally come out to my parents, and I'm very happy and grateful for that. And my question is, who was your biggest inspiration growing up?
God,
That's so sweet.
that is really sweet.
If you want to cry now.
I feel like I've been close a couple of times. I feel my voice shaking.
Uh-huh.
From the women's game, I would like Kelly Smith was like the player
Yeah.
who you'd be like, she's incredible. Like she was the woman
Yeah.
that you would look up to. I think like inspiration, it was probably just like, I feel like my mum, just because like she would like take me to so much football and just like was really supportive, and I think just took sort of inspiration from that like my mum and dad and brother and just like family as a whole like backed me and like supported the dream that I had.
And going back to that question as well, right? I don't think I had a female that inspired me growing up, especially not in football.
Yeah.
So it's like, just imagine like the young girls now, they've got all these players to look up to, and it's just like, we're just gonna have such an influx of like more lionesses, hopefully. Like it's just, it's actually amazing. I love being part of it, man. Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah.
A young girl now playing.
Yeah.
Girls. Right, another question.
Hello, Georgia. My name is Hope and I am from South East London. The first thing I want to say is that I'm very glad that you're getting all the appreciation that you deserve. I've been watching since your Come With Us vlogs when you were playing at Durham. Secondly, my question for you is, if you could say one thing to your younger self, what would it be?
Oh, God, we're getting a lot of love.
Yeah.
I know, it's nice.
Yeah.
It's nice, like, I don't think I've realised, obviously, like, the conversations that were had on the show, like, how many people they would, like, touch and help. I've obviously had, like, so many messages of people being like, I've just, like, watched the show with, like, my mum and dad and, like, come out to them and stuff, and it's like, oh.
That's mad, isn't
Such
it?
a-
Yeah,
so,
like, it's
like-
incredible. What could I tell my younger self? I don't even think it would be, like, football related. I think it would probably be, like, to do with, like, sexuality and, like, probably coming out. Because I didn't come out until I was, like, I think 21. And it was when I'd, like, moved to a different place. So it was, like, it wasn't even, like, coming out. It was just, like, meeting new people and being like, yeah, I'm gay. And they were like, yeah, sound. Like, I couldn't, in my head, like, trying to tell people that I was gay when they'd had, like, a preconceived
Opinion
thought that I was straight, even though I think most of my friends knew that I was gay because I'd never had a boyfriend, like, the 3 years I was in Florida.
Yeah.
But I think, just, like, it's okay to be gay and, like, coming out sooner would probably be it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I think so many people can relate to that though.
Yeah.
Like I didn't realise I was gay until I was in that environment, until I played for like a women's team.
Yeah.
And like you're just surrounded by those people, and I just felt comfortable.
Yeah.
I just felt like, oh, I can actually just be myself.
Yeah.
Not that I didn't think that I was myself beforehand, but it's just like, oh, this is actually like who I am.
I think, like, for the longest time I was like, am I gay, or do I just think I'm gay because I'm a footballer?
Yeah.
Because there's, like,
Very
such a
true,
thing of, like,
yeah.
oh, you play football,
It's
you're
such
a
a stigma,
lesbian.
yeah.
Mm.
And then I was like, when I was in America, the team, like, the first university I was like a very straight team. And, like, everyone was lovely and they would have been fine with it if I was gay, but, like, I was like, oh, there wasn't, like, people to push me out of the closet, basically.
Yeah.
Because I think if I've been at uni in England, I feel like
Yeah.
like women's uni football like was way gayer than what it was at the ones. I think I went to the straightest school in America. I was like, are you kidding me? So I think if I've been at like uni in England,
So I did your ACL.
yeah,
It's not gay enough for you.
it's because I was pretending to be straight.
Oh man. But like obviously you were, you know, you were so vocal on the show, but I think just having that show to begin with,
Yeah,
like that's the first time I've ever watched a show that's like that.
yeah,
And
big
I think
time.
just having it, and all of the girls were so different, and like I
Yeah.
feel like everyone was so like represented. It was just beautiful, and I think the reaction it's had has just been amazing.
Yeah,
So-
definitely. I think like it's amazing to see how much it's like touched other people and helped them. But I think it was like I sort of knew it was something I needed to do, and like having done it, I was like I needed that
Yeah.
for like so many reasons, like getting me out of a football environment or like just making me more comfortable and confident with like my sexuality. It was like the fact that it was like reality TV wasn't. I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna get on the telly. It was more like that didn't faze me.
Yeah.
It was just like the experience of a whole. I was like, I feel like this is would be good for me and something I
Definitely.
needed to do.
And just to like kiss a girl.
Yeah. And to like be like 10 yards away from Danny Minogue.
Let me in there.
10 out of 10.
Right, final question.
Hello, my name's Abby. I'm from Portsmouth, and my question for Georgia is, would you say it's easier to get into professional women's football in this day and age due to it being so accessible, or is it harder due to the level of standards that is now displayed throughout the game?
That's a good question.
That's a really good question.
That's a very
Abby.
good question.
done,
I
Abby.
think it's probably a bit of both. Like, I think it's probably better now that there's, I think, more girls' teams and like better structure than there was like growing up. But like possibly harder because the standard is
It's going up.
it's going up,
yeah,
and it's
definitely.
like taken way more seriously. So they're not just letting like anybody in and like
Yeah.
Definitely.
expectations and stuff. So I think it's definitely better for like people to just get involved in it. But I think maybe harder
More
because there's
competitive.
more players, the standard's higher, it's better standard from like a younger age. So like by the time
By the time they're this, yeah,
it's only getting better. So I think probably overall harder.
harder,
Yeah.
but in a good way.
Yeah, in a good way.
Yeah.
It's
That's
only,
what we want though, isn't it?
yeah, it's only going to
We want-
improve like the standard of the game as a whole. So
Yeah,
I
I'd
think,
love to be a little girl right now.
I know.
Under 8s team, I would be
Yeah.
the next Viv Miedema. I reckon I would.
It's so funny though, like thinking back, we spoke about this on our first episode, but like I'm now wondering if I was actually good at football or I was just like good for a girl.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
No, I know.
Like, everyone's like,
But-
oh, she's so good, but was it because I was like
Yeah,
the only girl?
the only one, yeah.
But
No, I know.
I guess we'll never know.
Never know.
Georgia, what do you hope to achieve in the next few years?
Oh, what do I hope to achieve?
Can be football related, business related.
Yeah, I think football would like to be back in the championship. Still got sort of aspirations to play in WSL. As I said, quite like to play in Australia. But like the primary thing with that would be just to earn enough money so that I don't have to be a supply teacher or
Yeah.
a teaching assistant. Thank you
Yeah.
very much, because that's hell.
I would pay money to see you in a
Hell
classroom with like
and
teenagers.
horror. No,
I feel like you'd strangle them.
Yeah.
in my head I am,
Yeah,
but actually not, because
we can't do that,
We'd get
unfortunately.
fined,
Yeah,
I'd lose my DBS.
jail time.
Yeah, not ideal. Can't play
Yeah.
football then.
No, do you know what? Let's scrap that idea.
Yeah, scrap
I'm not
that.
doing that.
Scrap that. And then I think, so yeah, football, just play at the highest level I can, do that for as long as I can. Outside of football, I think just like dabble in bits and bobs. Like, love fashion, so I'd like to maybe like get into bit like fashion bits.
Okay.
I always like see myself as maybe like presenting like after football. So
Okay.
like, I think just like trying different bits and bobs so that once football's done, I've got something
You've
to
got
go into
selection.
that I love.
Definitely.
And I'm not like finished football being like, where do I go now? And being like, oh, I'll get a job in a school.
Yeah.
Like, and like I think doing things outside of football, like it only makes you happier and like a more rounded person, so then you're happier and performing better
Yeah.
at football.
Yeah. I'm ready for
Yeah.
the finish. 100%.
Yeah, so then you're not being like, oh my, like scared to retire because you're trying to cling on to football because you've got nothing else.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think,
You've got a very good mentality.
thank you,
Very mature.
thank you. It's
Like
because I'm
it.
For your
29.
age.
Yeah. Getting on
Wait,
like
how old
that.
are you? 20?
9.
Oof.
Very freshly.
Halfway
What are you-
to
oof.
58.
What are you oofed? Oofed him for?
You're a baby.
I am.
How old are you?
You sit
21.
down.
I'm sat.
Yeah. Pipe down you.
I'm all right with it though. I'm all right
Oh,
with
no,
my
no.
age.
Yeah.
Yeah, so am I. I still feel like it's 21 though.
I feel like
Still
when I
look
was like
21.
25,
Yeah.
26, I would be like, oh my God, I'm like losing my youth. But
Yeah.
then now I'm like, I feel like more sure of myself. Like I'm confident, like more confident than I probably was, even
Yeah.
though I was confident then. And just like, feel like I've got like a vision of like where I want my life to go, instead of being like, what am I doing? Like, where am I going? Like
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah.
Love that.
29's
look,
good.
29's great. No, I'll take that back. I'll sit
Yeah.
back down.
It's
Yeah.
great.
It's a great age. It's a great age. Love
Great
getting
age.
older.
Well, if we ever need another host,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm your gal.
get your presenting skills on.
Yeah, let me dabble.
Yeah.
You've obviously inspired so many young girls. But what advice would you give young girls that are trying to get into football now? Sorry, I keep asking you really heavy questions.
No, that's all
but-
right. I think if you want to get into it, like, go for it. I think, like, one of the barriers that, like, when I've spoken to, like, girls at, like, camps or, like, just bits and bobs, they're like, how do you get into football? I think they're worried if they're the only girl. I think, like, if you think it's for you and you want to do it, like, go for it. And don't... obviously I grew up with people telling me like girls don't play football,
Yeah.
or like girls shouldn't play football, or like it's not a career, you can't do that. So, but it was like not bothered. It was like, this is what I want to do, so I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And I think that came from having like supportive parents, so I was like very lucky in that sense. But I think if it's something you want to do and you you can't shake the idea that you want to do it, you have
to go for it. Yeah.
have to go for it, and like don't listen to people that tell you that you shouldn't or
Yeah.
whatever. Just be stubborn and
Use
go
that as
for it.
motivation, I guess.
Yeah, like
use that negative.
yeah,
fuel it.
100%. I feel like I read, this is going deeper and a bit off topic, but like I read a book by like, I think it was Ant Middleton, about like negativity, and he said he's got a positive goal, but it's fueled by like negative
Yeah.
energy. And I was like, I really relate to that, because it's like,
yeah.
I want to be like the best footballer I can be, but it's fueled by people who've said like girls
Close
can't play
comment.
football and you can't do it as a career. And recently, like Durham, it's like refueled like my fuck you
Yeah.
energy of being like, I'm going to prove you wrong.
It's that fuck you. I'll watch
Yeah.
me do it then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love that.
So it's like, if you've got that, harness it, 'cause it can get you
Yeah.
quite a long way.
Just like that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start training again.
Oh,
I can do it.
Well, you're 21. You've still got.
Yeah,
You got
well,
the youth.
you're at the peak.
Listen, Portsmouth is down the road. Get shin pads on.
And then,
I'll sign next
there
season.
you go.
Oh, Liv.
I can do it.
I will. Well, guys, that concludes our episode 2 with Georgia. Georgia, thank
What
you
an
so much
episode.
for your time.
Thank
Honestly,
you for having me. Loved it.
you are a legend,
Thank you.
and you've inspired a lot of people.
Thank you.
You've, I love that you've just been yourself, and you feel like you've grown.
Yeah.
It's really inspirational,
Thank you.
and we love you.
We love
Our
you.
community
Come back
loves you.
anytime.
I love
Yeah.
you guys.
Seriously, no. I hope you get into the championship. We'd
Thank you.
absolutely love that, and if you do, let us know.
Yeah.
We'll come down
Hell yeah.
and interview
Be
you.
fangirls.
Yeah.
Nice. Love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just have a sign.
Yeah.
You're doing great, sweetie.
No, we really appreciate your time. We know our supporters are going to absolutely love watching you on here. Thank you so much for watching, guys, if you have watched up until now. Yeah, that's episode 2 with Georgia. Let us know who you'd like to see. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And yeah, we'll see you soon in the next one. Thank you so much, Georgia. Legends.
Thank you guys.
Woo! Good
And
job.
Done.
Scene.
And
Cut.
cut.